Messy situation down there in Brazil. Foul play, says Argentina. And a big day for Atletico Madrid. I guess they wanted to get all this stuff out of the way before America's birthday. And Neymar burned that jacket, sending more missed messages like a hottie on Twitter. It's right now on Post to Post. USA, baby. That's right. Currently, Dutch national team about to move on to the finals to lose to Team USA on Sunday.
I think the mustard jacket's a good look, actually.
It wasn't like a mustard. It was like a gold, like I just got inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame type deal. Well, coming at you live from our beIN Sports studios, you know, we're trying our best. Facebook's being a hater, but we're going to give you guys some content no matter what. Like I said, about 5 minutes or so left in that Women's World Cup game. The Dutch currently leading. I don't know if I could say that, so forget I said anything. 99th minute, Jackie Gronin. Anyway, me and Dre were actually having a conversation pre this show about the Women's World Cup and how a lot of times it's an afterthought, but what you had told me something I thought was pretty funny about the whole thing.
Well, so it's not that funny. I'm just way more invested in this tournament, in this team than I expected to be. And that I don't mean, oh, I'm very invested in women's soccer, not to surprise. Like, I was super psyched for this World Cup. I said so as much before the tournament kicked off here on beIN Sports. But there's something about the way that they've been hated on.
Yeah, exactly.
That when you're from Miami, like we are, we've grown up here, we just love to be hated. Whether it's the Hurricanes, whether
that's
it's
we're at
the
our
Miami
best.
Heat, we shine when you hate us. And something about the bickering about the celebrations, not just against Thailand, but also now the sipping tea situation. Like, it makes me love this team so much, and I'm so invested in this U.S. women's national team that it's almost caught me by surprise. I've loved it. It won't be easy because nothing has been easy so far for them.
Not.
And whomever it is, whether it's the Dutch or Sweden, will give them a game in the final.
Yeah, I personally, I was on the side of the 13-0 drubbing was too much. The celebration at 12-0 was a little too much. But then we started, you know, with the Rapinoe thing, and then there was the tea, and everybody just nitpicking on every little thing, the nonsense with the hotel when they're just trying to figure out logistics. It was so dumb, so over the top. Now, you know what? Them all. You know what I mean? Like, give them all. We're going to win. And they're going to actually play their third final on Sunday. I feel like the last two games had like a final vibes for the women's national team because, you know, 2-1 France. France was the last team to beat them in competitive competition. And then they have the England game, which is a tough game. So now they'll play a third final.
It's also been, you know, for the U.S. anyway, it's been much more conservative than I expected to be. Obviously, like, we got to see what Lavelle's status is. She was brilliant. She was taking people's souls, Lavelle, this entire tournament. So it was a bummer to see her go down with an apparent injury. We don't know what the status of Megan Rapinoe is because obviously she was kept out.
Yeah, well, apparently she was in training today.
She was in training today.
Correct,
that's good news. But I did not expect to see this sort of conservative an approach from the U.S. The fact that they're in the final, you can't argue with the results.
That's true. It's true. I actually got a little frustrated watching them against England. I felt like they had some chances right to the corner, you know. And I felt that was a little bit, you know, especially with a close game. But, you know, hey, you can't argue with the results. Speaking of results, we're going to put Dre in the crisis corner, give the siren.
I usually do argue with the results, though. But go ahead.
That's like a cartoon ambulance sound that it's in my
no,
repertoire. Oh, the crisis quarter. The crisis quarter is what Argentina find themselves in after they crash out of the Copa America. Not without controversy, though. 2-0 win for Brazil. They move on to the final. And by the way, last week, me and Ricardo Mazza here, our resident MotoGP guy, I'll be honest, we needed content for the show. So we came up with this total nonsense of letting Siri, through a series of coin flips, pick the winners of the knockout stage of the Copa America. She is currently sitting 5-5, batting 1,000. All right, it gets a little trickier now because we need Peru to beat Chile. Like Brazil getting there wasn't a big deal, but we need Peru to beat Chile, Peru to beat Brazil, and then win the Copa America for Siri to be 100% right. If that's the case, I will be convinced that Terminator is upon us. Skynet has become aware, and it's all over. But
put your money on Peru.
Yeah, basically, let my phone make me a fortune. But Dre, you were able to watch this game. I'll admit once again, I was watching Spider-Man last night. Therefore, I did not watch Brazil versus Argentina. But you did, and you said that Argentina might have got robbed a little bit.
We'll move on to that in a moment because I thought this was, it's not saying much, but this was Argentina's best game at this Copa. It was also Messi's game at the best game at the Copa, and I don't think either of those speaks like huge volumes about their performances because they've been pretty crap the entire competition.
I'd agree.
They were in a relatively subpar group, with all due respect to our Paraguayan producer Maria. Paraguay were
almost knocked out Brazil. They were right there,
which tells you what all you need to know about what we've seen so far in this Copa America. But Argentina, look, Brazil were vastly superior team to Argentina, and they didn't look like it in this game because Argentina had stepped their game up significantly. That despite having a glorified interim coach, despite being in transition, despite changing their approach to every game so far. And I do feel like they can feel a little hard done by here because there was absolutely home cooking for Brazil in this match. And I don't know that Brazil don't win anyway, but Dani Alves, for example, I suspected, I spoke to Eric Krakauer before this kicked off, and I suspected Brazil were going to dominate the right flank. Because I looked at the two teams, the way they would line up, and I thought Dani Alves is going to have a brilliant game. They're going to be able to get in behind Tagliafico, and Argentina is not going to have anything to be able to attack them on that side. All that stuff actually played out pretty well. Dani Alves was the best player on the pitch. But 36-year-old Dani Alves should still have been sent off probably twice in that game.
And he should also not be the best player on the pitch, by the way. 36,
hey, watch
36 years old.
Watch what you say about
Hit a little close to home on that one. I'm right there with you, man.
No, and it was 1-0 when he commits a clear foul inside of the box against Agüero. That should have been a penalty. Immediately, Brazil counter, and they turned that into the 2-0. That should have been reviewed by VAR. It wasn't. Yep. I thought the Ecuadorian referee here, Roddy Zambrano, was way in over his head. Too much home cooking. That was scenario number one where Dani Alves probably should have seen a second yellow card. There was another situation on a Messi free kick, which Alisson actually anticipated brilliantly and plucked out of the top corner effortlessly, even though it was a really well taken free kick by Messi. The foul that set up that free kick was Dani Alves first kicking and then pulling Messi down in what was just obviously a professional foul. And that should have been the second yellow as well for Dani Alves, so he should have seen red there. We saw Artur drop a shoulder, like an NFL-style shoulder into Otamendi on a free kick.
Straight through him.
That should have been a penalty. Wasn't reviewed by VAR. So if Argentina is upset about the way that this game was officiated, they have a point. Now, Argentina probably overachieved by even making it to the semifinals.
Yeah, that's what I would say, especially after the way they started the tournament.
Yeah, didn't play particularly well in the group stage. I think it was only 4 points that they grabbed in the group stage, right? They lost to Colombia, which were the one-good team.
And they got the back-end Qatar game to send them.
And now Brazil are through to the final against either Chile or Peru. They're not going to have to face Uruguay, who were one of the best teams. They're not going to have to face Colombia, who I thought were the best team.
Yeah, they got the easy side of the bracket.
They got, past Argentina with a little bit of help, a little home cooking in the semifinals. So it's all set up for Brazil to shine at home.
It's all set up for Peru to fulfill our Apple coin flip predictions and win the whole shebang.
To prove our robot overlord.
Exactly, to prove that we really are not in control of anything. But that being said, I think that Netherlands-Sweden game is about to go final. But we're just going to move on into some daily news.
Best part of the show is the budget that we're spending on our sound effects.
Like, don't worry about the soundboard. Just pay me an afternoon of recording sound bites. We'll play them back straight off the machine. But daily news, big business day for Atletico Madrid. They announced basically everything we already knew was confirmed. We sent Joao Felix gets the nod. Hector Herrera and Marcos Llorente coming over for Real Madrid. Just, and you know what? You know what they thought? Early start on the weekend. Get everybody out. And my main question to you, Dre, really is, this is for sure like, hey, Griezmann, we'll see you later.
Well, their president confirmed that was done back in March.
Correct, yeah.
Basically, which was a weird thing for him to admit before
even close,
But it sounds like that's going to get done. Also, the one that you didn't mention there was Rodri, who's also confirmed. He's going to Manchester City. They're paying the buyout clause. That's a good bit of business for Atletico, who got him on a relative bargain from Villarreal. 1 season later, they sell him for almost twice what they paid to Manchester City, and they replace him with a very capable midfielder in Marcos Llorente. I'm not sure that there's a huge gap in quality between those two players. In fact, I'm a little surprised to see him go from Real Madrid to Atletico Madrid. And, that's a position where it's Diego Simeone's old position, and he's gotten some really good performances out of players there, so expect big things from Llorente getting regular playing time. But I don't think Atletico Madrid can play the little guy role anymore, right? I don't think we can hear...
Especially how much they spent on this guy.
From Diego Simeone talking about how they can't compete financially with Barcelona and Real Madrid, even if that's still true, even if they can't spend the same amount, although they've gotten close with Joao Felix, 19 years old, $140 million. I think he's the 5th most expensive signing of all time, just behind the Barcelona and Real Madrid type signings.
Like Neymar 3 times or something like that.
But when you've got a budget, an operational budget that's like $100 million more than the next richest club in La Liga, and the whole thing about like we're the little guy and we can't compete gets old entirely.
Exactly, yes. Especially when you've been competing. I mean, finished second last year in La Liga. They won it not too long ago.
They finished second each of the last two seasons in La Liga. They won it in 2014.
Correct, and then I think I have a Champions League final appearance. Two? Exactly 2, right? I guess I figured. I just
so enough with the inferiority complex of Atletico Madrid. You're a big club, act like
add some color to your wardrobe. This is ridiculous. And now, staying in La Liga.
Like all those things wearing orange ties.
Yeah, he shows up. This guy in America said, I need to wear more lime green.
Tie-dye.
Yeah, exactly. I got all the colors. Look. No, so staying with La Liga, kind of.
Sure.
Neymar might be moving back to Barcelona, as you know, but so far it seems like he's been given the Rabiot treatment a little bit, kind of banished to the reserves. Which is kind of weird for a guy you paid almost $500 million.
Well, we'll see, because players are only just like now going to start reporting, and that's not even true for the Brazilians because they're still alive in the Copa America. So we don't know what PSG is actually going to treat him like. We know that they started out asking for something like 300 million, lowered that down to the original asking price of 222. I think they've lowered it further down still. And it was a clear message from Nasser Al-Khelaifi when he said, we no longer want
celebrity
star treatment, we don't want celebrity, we don't want Hollywood. I think some of their signings would suggest that that's kind of the direction that they want to go in as well. But Barcelona fans don't seem to be all that ecstatic about getting Neymar back, and I think obviously it's got a lot to do with the way he left the club. But if you're in one swoop, both ridding yourself of Coutinho, who you haven't really been happy with,
which is the next story, by the way,
assuming he becomes a part of the deal, and bringing back Neymar to have to play with the two guys where they dominated. They won only the second treble in Spanish football history under Luis Enrique, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. I think that's a huge plus, especially when you see Real Madrid loading up on talent as they're doing this summer.
Yeah, delving into your psyche a little bit, and really the psyche of all Barcelona fans, do you think the reason maybe you're not so excited about Neymar is just because this is a name you've heard before?
There's a lot here, and I don't want to touch too much on the sexual assault accusations, although that's going to play a part that certainly doesn't
lately not in the best light.
For his image. The fact that he is seen as that's kind of Hollywood, getting permission to go to Carnival, or for his sister's birthday back in Brazil, who doesn't seem to be 100% committed to being a footballer first, that celebrity status, it does rub people the wrong way. And it's not a novelty either for Barcelona. They've had Neymar, they've seen what he can produce, and he left in the worst way possible, basically forcing a move out to Paris Saint-Germain. Now it hasn't gone well, and it feels a bit like he's coming back with the tail between his legs. And it'll come down to what Barcelona have to give up to bring him back, assuming that gets done. We've heard reports that the personal terms are already agreed to, so that would suggest that it's going to get done. As I said, Cerezo is already, that was the Griezmann thing. But it looks like it's going to get done. I think
it's a compensation matter between
once he starts scoring for Barcelona, once he starts playing for Barcelona, he becomes a part of the tribe again. All of a sudden, it's like we never doubted him at all for a second.
This is what we saw. This is our vision. Like, it's just quick how the winning goal eraser just wipes away like all the bad things. Speaking of Coutinho, who you dropped in on, report is that he has agreed that he could make the move to PSG, which of course would help in the Neymar swap. And like you said, it would be a little too perfect how all parties get win-win. It's so rare you see that, right?
You're also going to see, assuming any of this happens, which those sorts of trades don't happen that often. Obviously Barcelona had a really high-profile one when they sent Samuel Eto'o and bags of cash for Zlatan Ibrahimovic. That kind of trade where you get two superstar players and elite European football doesn't happen very often. But if this one does, and you're looking at a Barcelona side that could potentially start Messi, Suarez, Neymar, and Griezmann all at the same time, that's like Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, especially on the offensive end.
Stuff. And when I asked Ray Hudson about this, I sent him a text. Like, if this happens, what's your reaction? He said beIN's going to have to increase his health insurance coverage.
from all the screaming and everything going on. They still have nobody to defend, but who cares? Well, guys, like we were talking about before, the Women's World Cup semifinal match is concluded. The Netherlands advances to play the United States on Sunday. 99th minute goal from Jackie Groenen, who I asked Ray like 7 times how to pronounce that.
Shout out to Thomas Rongen, who correctly predicted the final.
He did predict the final. I just felt it was a bunch of home cooking all the way around, but he gets the dream final. It'll be Sunday, USA, Netherlands. We'll talk about it. I'm going to be like super dumb about it tomorrow for America's birthday.
Yeah,
so
watch.
If you think this is obnoxious, yeah, of course I will. They have it all staggered. That's another conversation. Well, predictions. Running out of time. Let's go.
What are we predicting?
That's all right now. Copa America semifinal tonight. Chile, Peru. Who wins?
Chile.
What's the score?
2-1 Chile. By the way, one of the coolest broadcasting experiences of my life in 2015, we covered the Copa America in Chile. Being at the Estadio Nacional in Santiago, a place that was at one point sort of a work camp where people died. It was a place that had like a lot of dark history to it. Watching Chileans who had waited their entire lives to celebrate their first major title, and that it happened at that venue against Argentina, no less, on penalties, was one of the coolest experiences I thought.
I'm going to say Peru on penalties just because I need Siri to be right. Because it's funny. It's funny. And we have Jamaica and...
By the way, Apple needs to send us stuff, man.
Yeah,
Apple Watch or
what's
something.
going on here? At least... I don't even need just like regular earphones. I don't even need AirPods, just regular earphones.
Wait, with like wires and stuff?
Exactly.
What, are you, a farmer?
Yeah, exactly. I'm still living in the past. It's the 34-year-old in me. Jamaica, USA tonight.
USA in the final.
I need the WUSA final. Yeah. I need the WUSA final, so tomorrow I can come on post to post dressed as Captain America.
Not going to be easy, though, because I'm not impressed with the way the USA played, especially in the last game.
Correct. And really quick, I'm going to ask you before we get out of here, Haiti last night. You know, the result didn't come out for them, controversial 93rd, but, you know.
Most fun team
for the
to watch in this entire Copa.
Usually, I'm watching just for the USA, I'm watching for Mexico, but Haiti really took my breath away. This is the speed and the talent, and I hope they continue to grow. I hope this isn't a one-off thing. Right. But guys, we also have Sports Burst noon tomorrow, post to post tomorrow, 4th of July. All you guys have a happy 4th of July. Don't blow your hands off. And African Cup of Nations is back on Friday. Me and Dre are going to have some Alex Morgan tea, and we're going to say goodbye. Later, guys.